Hey Heartlanders! In today's video, I interviewed Michael Weinberg, the king of Heartland. He virtually created Heartland from nothing, with no background in the film or TV industry at all. He was so cool and very funny, and you're sure to enjoy this really informative interview where he talks about all sorts of cast members such as Amber Marshall, Gary Mortal, and Sean Johnston. Watch this.
I'm on Instagram because everybody told me Facebook was for old people,
Oh, that's
and I don't want to be one of those.
you don't want to be. You know what? Facebook is actually great, especially for Heartland. We have like over 40,000 people already in the group, and it's growing like 100 a day.
Okay, well that's great.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. If I look at the demographics, it is a lot of older people, but I think they're great. And YouTube too. I mean, it's great. I mean, if you want to look for younger people, you have to go to TikTok.
Well,
That's
TikTok
for
isn't quite
OG.
for me.
When they first started actually making the pilot and the and season one, what you sort of envisioned, what it was going to be like, or was it still not exactly what you envisioned in your mind?
Um, See, after the pilot, that's when Heather came on board. She came on after the pilot. So at that point, I already had a contract with CBC for 12 more episodes for season one. Season one was 13 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Uh, And what they did in the early years was they took some stuff out of the books. Since I had all the books, I had the rights to all the books. They took some storylines out of the books. But what they did was, and this was the brilliant part, was they made it a lot better than the books. They made it family for one thing. And they made the stories more compelling and the characters came to life. They jumped off the screen at you.
Yes.
Um,
True.
and that was the magic. And what they did over the years that also I think is a big reason for the success of the show is that they didn't have somebody who was like, let's use Amy as an example. She was 17 when the show started in episode one. So they didn't have the same type of stories for her 10 years later,
That's right.
when she was 27. They made the stories in line with a 27-year-old woman.
So you knew, like Heather said, that the show could go like 15 to 20 years. And then she was like, wow, how did he know that? He knew somehow.
I so the question I asked myself was, what do we have to do to make this show engaging for the next 5 years? I don't ask myself, what do I have to do in this episode to make Tim likable, or what do I have to do to make, Lou nervous? That's not the kind of questions I ask myself. So once I have that idea, what do we need to do to expand our audience, to keep our audience, to make our audience happy for the next 5 years, I come up with a rough plan, which I do in conjunction with the other people.
So are you like sort of the person, like just sort of the umbrella person on top, sort of the principal? I mean, you are the king of Heartland, but you sort of come up with that plan, that long-term plan for the show?
I say, what do we need to do to keep our fans engaged? And where does that take us 5 years from now? Like, who has to do what? And it's very broad strokes, obviously, because things can change. So when you have somebody like, let's say, when Mallory wanted to be on the show less often, we knew, and actually she left in total, so
That's
totally left. So when something like that happens, we plan ahead, and I say, okay, we're not going to give up on that younger demographic. So
that's
we're going to need somebody to come in. Now, what's that person going to be like? It can't be another Mallory.
right.
So that person comes in, and that person is Georgie,
Smart.
right? So then, and this goes on throughout the period. If somebody who else is leaving the show, or somebody's starting to get boring, or whatever,
Yes.
we try and plan ahead. And one of our biggest challenges was, what do we do when Ty wanted to leave?
So did you know like in season 10 or 11 that he was starting to say like maybe I'm going to leave? You knew ahead of time.
Well, I will say this. Graham and I were very close, probably a lot closer than anybody else on set, maybe except for cast. Maybe he was closer with Amber than he
Mhm.
was with me, but of the producers, for sure, closest with me, because I brought him along from the very beginning, and I used to spend a lot of time talking to him about different stuff. So he started to want to leave. I don't know if it was as early as season 10 or 11, but certainly several years earlier, before 14. And I could understand when season 14 rolled around and he came to me and he said, look, you know, I want to, this is it. You're not talking me out of it anymore. I really want to leave. And I said, okay, look, if that's what you want to do. And I understood because let's remember when he started on the show, he was about 20 years old, 19, 20. 15, 14 years later, he was 34, 35. When did he become a man? He really, you know, he lived in a bubble
Right,
of the show where he was playing this character and he really didn't get a chance to grow up.
right.
And I can understand that. I can understand it perfectly. And so what was I going to say to him? You can't quit. I mean, what was I going to do? You know, he wanted to go.
Yeah,
I said, all I did was I wished him the best of luck. And I said, look, we have to kill you because I can't have it.
I love that. You know,
I had to, we can't have him out there alive and Amy can't move on with her life.
that's right.
So when he left, I mean, we came up with this plan and it said, look, Amy's got to be like a single mother. She's got to be running her own business. She's got to do dating. She's got to do all the things that she couldn't do when she was the perfect wife.
Wow. At Heartland, you can tell the way you talk about it. It's such your brainchild. You can just tell.
Well, thank you.
And so with Mallory, the same thing. I know she was young, and Heather had said, like, and I've heard this. A lot of actresses and actors want to leave because they don't want to be stuck with one stereotype of
Yeah.
a character they can play.
I mean, people leave, people try other things. It's absolutely amazing that we have managed to keep our core cast,
That's true.
Amy, Lou, Jack, Tim, um, Ty, for 14 years.
And Caleb,
That's
you're right. You had a lot of people who
Yeah, I mean, it's unheard of. It's unprecedented.
people really like those characters, like Mallory, Jake, Mrs. Bell, for example, Anna Ferguson, that they might come back.
Well, we're always open to that for sure. It all depends on how it fits into the stories,
I see.
and depends also on scheduling, which is always a big problem, especially with the last couple of years with COVID. We couldn't get people in from the States and this and that. It was very problematic.
Right. So how much say would you have? Like if you said you wanted to bring back Mrs. Bell, for example, Anna Ferguson, would you just say like, can you write that into a storyline? Is that something you do?
Yeah, I could do that, but
See, you are the king. You said you weren't the king, but you are, because you could just tell them.
you didn't let me finish. That's why I'm the king halfway. Then what happened? I mean, I'll suggest it to them and I'll say, can we bring her back for this or that? Now, if it doesn't fit, they're not going to do it. They're not going to, I'm not going to override
I see.
so we run a democracy, so
Is that hard sometimes though? Like,
yeah,
you,
yeah, definitely.
like if you feel like you have a vision and someone else has a vision, you're like, I don't know. And I know the show is obviously extremely important to you, so it must be hard to step back and say, okay, you
It
guys.
is, but then I always go to my go-to, which is, listen, you've been running this thing for 15 years and it's been successful. So you're going to rock the boat now? Believe me, the show is not dependent only on me. There's a lot of people that make it a success.
Yes,
And if I'm going to start being a tyrant, it's ridiculous because what am I doing? Playing with success. So
that's true.
my ego isn't that big.
You can be a king but be humble.
Hey, there you go, humble king. 1507 is the one. I'll just tell you a little bit about it.
Sure.
Amy confronts the guy that killed Ty. In my opinion, that particular scene is Amber's best acting.
Ever in the whole history of Heartland?
In my opinion, yeah. Yeah, because she was taken out of that emotional box where she had to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect sister, the perfect daughter, the perfect, everything, perfect granddaughter. Everything had to be perfect because Ty and Amy were a perfect couple.
That's right. Yeah, that's how I
Okay.
always felt too. Yeah.
But now that she's unfettered from that as an actor, we're giving her stuff that she hasn't done before.
Oh, I see. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she did that scene with him, I I'm not an emotional person, but I turned to mush.
That's the thing that people are looking for. Sometimes they'll say, well, 14 didn't seem like Heartland, or 1501 didn't seem, exactly like the old seasons, but it just takes some time, to get past some of the other storylines. You have such a big storyline of Ty leaving or Ty dying.
Yeah. And now we're bringing, look, we're bringing the audience along on the journey. It's like, an experience of a relative dying, and people go through the various stages. And we've been going through those stages with our cast in season 15.
I mean, Heartland's such a phenomenon. I call what I say for my tagline for my YouTube is that Heartland's not a show, it's a lifestyle.
Well, that's a good tagline.
It really is.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And here's another one you can use. Here's another one you can use. Jack Bartlett, Canada's favorite grandpa.
Oh, that's right. Heather called him Canada's most important grandfather.
They love him. To this very day, he tells me he didn't believe that I wanted him to be Jack. He thought it was a way for me to let him down from being Tim.
Right, he said that. He thought maybe just like having him at an audition just to have him there, and that it was like sort of a joke. That's funny. Can you please be in the background? I know Ken Craw has been in the background in season 7, and that was hysterical to see him there.
I was in season 15 in the last episode.
Oh, wow, great. We can't wait.
I'm the chauffeur. Keep an eye out for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You finally got to be in the show?
Yes, many years ago, and they cut me out.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, they said I didn't look enough like a cowboy. I guess I looked like a chauffeur, but not a cowboy.
A cowboy hat?
Yeah, I had the whole thing, the checkered shirt and everything. I was standing in the background at Maggie's Diner, pretending I was buying something.
Can I get the footage? Can I put it?
I don't even know how to find it. It was so many years ago.
Oh, come on, you know how to find it. You put this whole show together.
I'm serious. I never asked for it. I don't know. But in 1510, Lisa is leaving, so she gets in this limo, and I'm the limo driver. I open the door for her. She gets in. I get in, and I drive away.
Oh, wow. Do you have any lines? Or are you just...
No, they wouldn't give me any lines. They don't
Not yet, right?
I'll show them.
What do you know about season 16? Is there anything you can tell me, like something new? Well, Amber always says, like, there's good news coming. I can't say exactly what, but you guys might be able to guess. So I'm like, either she's pregnant or this is a season 16. I don't know which one she means.
Well, wait a minute. So if I say there's good news coming, does that mean you're going to think I might be pregnant too?
Thank you very much.
All right. So thanks for having me. And don't forget, Weinberg HL on Instagram.
I won't forget.
We need followers.
Keep Heartland strong. Oh, will you say that for me?
Which? Keep Heartland strong?
Yeah, you did it. Thank you.
Bye, Anita.
If you liked this video, please like and subscribe for more great videos all about Heartland. And please also follow Michael's Instagram account and Weinberg HL. He needs the followers. Bye for now. Keep Heartland strong.